Well, hello and welcome back. We're continuing our series looking at SQL and Python, sort of combined into this database synchronization thing. And last episode we wrapped up, we were getting into multi-column indexes and looking at how to sync those. So for example, in this case, we've got one, it's called horse_b_o, which is on the horses table, and it ties breeder and owner together. And so what we need to be able to do is what we're going to want to be able to create is effectively this line. Is we want to be able to do create index, give it the name on the table, and then we're going to give it the two, what do I call it? Owner and breeder. I'm sorry, owner and breeder, yeah. And we're going to give it the two columns. Now, in order to do so, what we're going to do, and this is where we paused last time because we went a little bit long. So what we're going to do is we're coming through each of the source indexes. We're going to grab the name, which would be horse_b_o. And then we've got this destinations, DEST names array. And we're going to say, if it's not in there, if we haven't already found this column or this index, then we're keeping track of index names. So we're going to create an array called index names, which already exists up there. So let's do it this way. I should be able to do it this way. Let's see. Let's try it like that. And it doesn't like an append somewhere there. List indices must be indexed. Oh. Well, let's do that. And if I do that, then I should still be okay. Nope. Oh, because it's a list indices. If I do that. Oh, which is fine because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this and I'm going to add it. Okay, I'm good. Sorry, it's a little bit sidetracked there. So I've got this dictionary, which is going to be keyed off of the index name. And then for each of those, I'm going to have an array that is going to be each of the columns. So I'm grabbing, this is what that IDX row 4 is, or at index number 4. That is a column name. So what I'm going to do is so I can look here and I can see when I'm done, print out IDX names. And so I can see here that I have one, and it's got two different columns. So basically for each one of those, I'm going to do for name in IDX names. And in this case, oops, let's leave that one there for now. What I want to do is, I don't want it to be here. What I want to do is for each of the names in index names, I am going to do for column name in name. So now this is that array. I am going to do, let's see, name, let's do column string, let's do column list. Ooh, I can probably do, I may be able to do this a little easier because I can probably say take, so for each of the names, I'm going to do, I want to do IDX names, name. And let's see what that does. And let's convert that to a string. I don't know if it's going to even like that, but let's see what happens. Because I think what I want to do is actually do that join. Because I bet I can do that. So if I do this, here we go. Okay. So he's going to come in and he's going to do it. It's not quite what I want. So I think I can just do join. Can I do that? Let's see what that looks like. Let's see, join takes exactly one argument. Let's try this. Oops, nope. Let's go look up our join real quick because I think that's what we want to do. So we're going to do a Python join. I just forget how to do it right, which sometimes happens. Okay, so join is going to be, I do a something and then join it. Okay, so I should be able to take comma dot join this. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, no, it doesn't like that. Interesting. So that's not quite going to get us what we need. So I'm going to have to do this a little more interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to go with my original approach, which is basically going to be, okay, so then for each of the names, then I'm going to do for call name in, whoops. IDX names. Well, let's do this. Print call name. Let's just see what it does. Because I think it's not going to like that. Or it's not going to care because I think name is yeah, so it takes that whole, so it can't be in name, it can be in IDX names name. So the dictionary is not callable. So it is a dictionary object. So let's do so what I'm missing is something. So let's do Python iterate dictionary. How do you iterate through dictionary? Here we go. Oh, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we want to do. We want to do for that dot keys. And it is a function. Yep. Okay, so we're going to take for each of the keys. Then we're going to do for column name in IDX names. And that's going to be name. So now we should see this work. It is not because we're saying that this is not callable. So this is on 102. So let's do string. Oops, wait, it's not that way. My mistake. Darn it, that's not it. That's what happens when you put the wrong stuff in there. So now let's try it. Okay, there we go. Let's see. So it came in and it gave us 2 columns. So that's going to be column name. So we're going to do, let's do column name. Let's do it this way. We'll build it out like we normally have. So column name equals nothing. And then we're going to say if column name equals nothing, then column name equals, I call it column names equals column name. So if he's empty, then we're good. There we go. Else, then column name equals column names plus comma plus column name. Oh, and for each of these, we want to go ahead and do our little brackety thing. So we're going to do this. We're going to do a little that just to protect our name. And so then, in that case, he's going to do that plus that. And then when we're done, this is going to be, column names. And let's see how that looks. Did I save it? Hopefully I did. There we go. So create index on there like that. Let's see if that works. And so if we come through here and run it, now we're going to do through each one. We're going to create it, and then we're going to quit. So let's see if we can do that. We created the index. So now if we go to our local and tutorial, and we show indexes, boom. So if we look here, this is our 2 rows. Well, let's just take the whole thing. So if we look at the whole thing now, if we look at that, and then we go back and look at that from our source, here, we should see effectively the same thing. Oops, that's create. I don't want to create index. I want to show indexes. And we're going to see here, let's just do it this way. So what we're going to see is the exceptions are the cardinality. But we can see here, but we can see here there's a difference between a primary versus an ID. So we're probably going to want to look into that, but they're all B trees. There we've got yeses here for the nulls. Let's see, the collation is A for everybody. Column names are the same. Index, sequence index is the same. So we're good. And then non-unique is the same. So the one thing we may want to look at is the primary. Is that right? Yeah, so key name being primary versus ID. So we would just want to be able to select our what our primary keys are that we wanted to set for our indexes. But now what we have is we do have the ability to go in and take any index that exists in our source. We're now going to run through that, and that will take care of it. So we can actually run our whole database. I'm not going to worry about syncing rows because, well, let's do that. I don't think it matters that much. So if I do like up to 10,000 rows and I sync it and then sync the columns, which I probably want to sync columns first to be fair. And I probably want to do indexes last because there may be situations where there's something a little funky and we've got to have the data correct. So let's see if that works. If I run that through, then it looks like we are getting some inserts here, and hopefully it's not going to blow up. And we will see that we went in. Oh, I've got this extra little print stuff that I don't need. So let's see, those index is missing. Where did I do start, miss. So if I go into missing indexes, let's clean that up. I've got an extra print somewhere in here. I don't need prior column because I'm not using it. Here we go, index names. There we go. So now if I use it, it should run through, blow out all my data, and boom, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to set it back to 0, which will now get all of my data. Should all be synced, including everything, all of my indexes and stuff like that. We do want to look at, I think I've got a couple that I want to double check. Like I've got some unique and a couple other indexes that are worth double checking to make sure that they get created properly. And we will run into those next time around because I think this is a good time to wrap this one up as our database is getting loaded. So I'll get to, as always, you can check this out. There's links in the show notes so you can hop on to GitHub and take a look at some of this code. I don't think all the data's there, but you can poke it at point it at whatever database you want to use and synchronize it to ideally like a local copy of it and see how that goes for you. There are other issues that we still have to deal with. We are not done with the complexities of doing such a thing, particularly, and I think we'll probably tackle this next time. Well, it depends on how fast we can get through the indexes. We'll probably do one more, take a look at indexes, unique and such, and then we're going to try to dig into some of the issues that we can run into when we limit our max rows and what can cause problems there and some of our cleanup. That being said, we'll wrap this one up. So go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you next time.